providers who I felt were overcharging, were a little sketch, and I have filed complaints. That was one out of, look, Declan has had therapy for 20 years. That was one provider that I came across. And mind you, Declan at the beginning had 5 days a week for 3 years of early intervention. So we had City Kids was fantastic. Vital Rehab was fantastic. There's another place that I probably shouldn't name that was not. And those are just three, like, they were independent, like speech therapists, developmental therapists. I mean, we have had over the course of Declan's life, I want to say maybe 50 or 60 different therapists in different fields, because there's a big turnover rate, in part because their reimbursement is so challenging. These therapists who provide, and we're going to talk about early intervention tomorrow, because there are 3,000 babies right now on a wait list for up to a year waiting for services, and that's just for evaluation, that are... These are the kinds of services that help them reach their potential. I'm sorry. I'm so angry right now about the suspension of Medicare and Medicaid of up to $250 million. Because the people who will feel it first, the people you are punishing, for those of you who are like, oh, go get them. This is services for senior citizens, including those who live in facilities where they receive like memory care, physical care, right? People with disabilities, children, pregnant women. And again, is there fraud? Yeah, there is. And guess where there are higher rates of fraud? A lot of the red states, because... Am I yelling already? Because they actually take advantage. I'm sorry, I don't want to say take advantage. They benefit from these services actually more than blue states. But they're not going after the blue states. They're punishing the sanctuary cities and states. They are using racist language to do it, conjuring up images of, what did he say? The pirates. He was being just so disrespectful and denigrating to immigrants from all over the world. In particular, during the State of the Union, he called out Somalis who have... My husband was telling me the other day, because we went to Minneapolis not long after Declan was in the hospital for 8 weeks in 2022. We went to Minneapolis and we had a great time. Highly recommend. One of my favorite places is Surly Brewery. Really fun performance space, great brewery. At any rate, Steve was saying, like, the people there, in particular the immigrants that we worked with and talked to and had wonderful exchanges with, especially the Somali community. It's so frustrating that this administration continues to dehumanize, to marginalize, to call people names, and to use fear and hatred, and now to choke off resources for people who need it the most. And again, there's plenty, I mean, billions of dollars in Texas last year, and before that even, investigations that were started under multiple administrations. At any rate, here's my question, and I believe that Vance and Dr. Oz was sent to Minnesota to answer questions. You know that guy. Thanks, Oprah. Thanks for nothing. But this cheese whiz, he went to Minnesota to explain what was happening. And they were asked, so what do the residents of Minnesota who rely on these services, how do you compensate them in this disruption of their services for health, for physical therapy, for speech therapy, for stroke recovery? And they could not answer. If they don't find any fraud, there's no plan to make sure that they can make right. And look, we went through this in Illinois. I will never forget when Governor Rauner cut $26.2 million to services across the state of Illinois, to people who needed it the most, to seniors, to kids who had after-school programs, parents with children with disabilities. There was one parent, and I started getting letters. I was at another radio station where we had a big platform. We had access to legislators. We were I went down to Springfield to cover it. I was in the press box. I went down there with parents who testified in hearings, kids with Down syndrome, with cerebral palsy, with autism, with epilepsy, and there was one parent. I will never shake this. There was a mother who was receiving respite care, meaning that the state was providing, because she was a single mom. She is a single mom, and she received respite care, which meant someone came to her home. Her child is in a wheelchair, minimal ability to move, cannot care for herself, cannot bathe herself, cannot go to the bathroom by herself. And for most of us, respite care, parents like me and Steve, like we used to get like 4 to 6 hours a month where we had someone come babysit for like 4 to 6 hours, someone who was trained medically to be able to take care of Declan. And so Steve and I would go to the movies, or we'd go to the restaurants, right? I used to love the skinny martini from Chili's. Like that was my respite day of the week. For this mom, because she's single, because her child required care that was above and beyond, she got more hours. And what she needed those hours for was to work, to be able to stay in her home, to provide a care for her child, So come on in, Carmen. She ended up having to institutionalize her child because they took all of her respite care away. She was not able to work anymore. So her child, since 2015, has had to live in an institution because of the cuts that were made over a decade ago. And I've told folks this, one of the things that I'm terrified about is families like mine. And look, I usually tell you, and what's been the case since Declan was a baby, when I get loud, when I go to Springfield, when I get in the face of legislators, when I ran for office, I was absolutely fighting for everybody's families because I had been a big enough mouth in our community. And believe me, there were teachers, there were administrators who would see me come and the look on their face, Carmen, would be like, oh God, she's back. Because I wanted to make sure that Declan had everything he needed. And so making sure he had what was necessary, I would go to Springfield and get in people's faces to make sure everybody else, because I know that parents don't have the bandwidth or the time or the resources. But I'll tell you now, I am terrified for my own son. I am now back into survival mode. And that's how a mama bear is.
And that's where the loud. So I was listening from the car when you're like, I'm sorry, am I talking loud? And I actually answered you from my car. Yes, you are, Patti. But that is the passion of a mama bear.
Can you imagine living in I mean, we are. I don't know if Illinois is next to be cut off from. So Vance and Oz announced that they cut off $250 million in aid in the Medicare and Medicaid payments because they think there's fraud. They just can feel it. The thing I want to talk about you, and later on at about 5:30 we have another legal expert joining us. Did you see any of the ICE whistleblower testimony?
Yes.
Oh, did you sent it to me?
Yes.
Both my law enforcement friends, both you and my ex-boyfriend, Detective George, sent me the same.
Yeah.
And so I'm making a couple videos. So for folks who don't know, I mean, how horrifying was it to learn what this attorney who resigned specifically to be a whistleblower?
Well, it's
everything you said.
Knew. Yeah, it's everything we were saying. Like that was the argument. No, I'm not going against my own brothers and sisters in blue. I'm saying that this is what they're being told to do. They're being sent out with specific marching orders.
Yeah.
They're not being trained. They're being given directives. That's it.
Yeah.
We were saying it all along.
And so to give folks an example, they cut 244 hours of training, including the Constitution, including firearm safety. They cut that down. They basically they said you'll learn on the job. Now, how often so training for how to manage a protest situation? It used to apparently be 2 hours, which also doesn't seem like enough. They've got it to 10 minutes, and the attorney said he talked to one of the agents about seeing him just throw a tear gas can. He goes, well, that's what I see what they're doing in Minnesota. So they're just learning from what they see on social media.
They're saying these are the tools at your disposal. Just use them.
Yeah.
Like they're not teaching them anything else. Here, like even when we had NATO and things coming, it was hours upon hours. It was weeks set up. They were bringing, and it was working with other jurisdictions. There's lots of training that goes into it, and it's annual, and it's retraining, and it's all sorts of things. 10 minutes is just, I cannot.
Are you hearing, I know that we've talked about this before, that a lot of people in law enforcement, they kind of love what they see in these videos where they're tossing.
Some of them wish they'd be able to do it and had the same, some of them.
Some of them, yes.
Some of them.
My concern, and we talk about this, it makes you more vulnerable. It makes our men and women in uniform more vulnerable because it erodes trust. I don't, knowing that they want.
Well, most of the incidences that we're hired to handle, for 10, let's take an average. You may get 10 service calls a day. You may make one arrest,
Yeah.
The other 9 are problem solving, communicating.
Yes.
Mitigating. It's talking and communicating. You don't use anything on your belt. You literally are using communication. It's listening. It's talking. It's
what?
That the majority. Can you imagine that?
What? This is madness that you're talking about.
I know. Public
using your
safety
skills,
is using
de-escalating. What?
Yeah, no way.
And the number of like toys they have, they're so proud of like waddling out with their poorly fitting vests, right? That have like, tear gas and tasers and pliers and
trust me, we have all that. We do too, but that shouldn't be the first excited to use it. If you have to use any of that stuff, that's a scary situation.
Yes.
That's not exciting. That's scary.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's Carmen Navarro Gercone. She joins me in the studio. Thank you for hanging out with me today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. We're going to have Paul Farahvar on in a little bit. Do want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank Source Solar. Go to source.solar, make an appointment with Peter Sorellis and see if it's time to get solar panels on your house or business. Have you had a chance to enjoy your Pride Coffee Roasters, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I told you, I made my husband go on a hunt and find
that's right, your grinder. Yeah. By the way, they're going to be at the Edgewater. I might go to Edgewater on Saturday. They're there for the farmers market at the Broadway Armory over by there, and I might go there. That's in Broadview, not Broadview. Is that right? Uptown. Sorry, Uptown. Uptown. No, wait. Hold on a second. I will find out because they have. You know where you can find out at PrideCoffeeRoasters.com. They have it right on their website. They'll also be right here in Jefferson Park again for the Jefferson Park Sunday Market on March 22nd. We'll be at the Copernicus/Gateway Theater. Oh, was I supposed to be at an event tonight, or was that last week? I think it was last week. There was the Gift Theater had an event, and I just been a little bit busy. Just a little bit busy. PrideCoffeeRoasters.com and check their schedule for where they will be next. So you can buy their incredible coffee in person. I'm a huge fan. Plus, I've got some fun gay swag. I have my Sounds Gay I'm in. It's very happy making. Edgewater Indoor Market, Broadway Armory, 5917 North Broadway, right here in Chicago. Nice. That'll be this Saturday. But you can have their bean subscription orders delivered to your house or for pickup.
So good.
That's so freaking good. I think my coffee today is El Salvador. I can't remember. It's vanilla wafer and is it cocoa nibs? I don't know. It's also very good. Do you know they started this as a hobby? They brought home some these green coffee beans and just thought let's give it a twirl.
And it's a lot of work.
I mean, it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's fantastic. I am such a happy person.
I'm looking to see.
So go to PrideCoffeeRoasters.com and you can be a big fan like me and Carmen Navarro Gercone. They have a Roasters mystery pack. They also have their Resist blend, which is fantastic as well. Together we drink coffee in solidarity with the Resist Movement blend. The medium roast is an equal blend of the Dominican Republic and Arabica beans from Asia. In your cup are flavors and notes of blueberry cobbler and chocolate malt with a hint of warming spice. That's PrideCoffeeRoasters.com.
I'm on their website now.
There you go. Also go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. And we are doing so well with our marketplace Kickstarter. Continue to support the work that we're doing to give you an alternative to Amazon. That's MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. And please consider putting in an order for some great progressive brews, maybe some hop water, which you can't have, but you can have some of the other beers. I'll send you home with some mocha coffee too from him. MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. Let's take a break here. Continue our conversation in studio with Carmen Navarro Gercone, our law enforcement expert, former candidate for Cook County Sheriff. Let's see what she's been up to, and we'll take your phone calls as well in just a moment.
Think Theory Radio. Dr. Hande Ozdinler, she is a neuroscientist, but also an artist.
It seems that the larger we go, the galaxy, the sky, and then also as small as we go, right? The nanostructures, the atomic interactions or cellular interactions, there is so much resemblance. There is a secret or there is an unspoken symmetry.
Think Theory Radio with Damian Perdue. Saturdays at 6 p.m. on WCPT 820.
Robin Kelly grew up behind the register in her dad's grocery store. So she knows what it means when the same groceries cost more each week. Under Donald Trump, corporations get tax breaks, loopholes, and a green light to price gouge. Families get higher grocery bills, higher childcare costs, high healthcare premiums. It's Trump's economy. Corporate profits first, people last. In Congress, Robin Kelly's been fighting back. Robin took on insurance companies to lower drug costs. She wrote the law extending Medicaid for new moms to a full year because cutting care after 60 days was just wrong. And now Robin Kelly is running for Senate with a people over profits agenda. Medicare for all, so healthcare isn't a ripoff. Cap on childcare costs so families can work. And crack down on corporate price gouging so you're not punished at every turn. People over profits. Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate.
I'm Robin Kelly, Democrat running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Robin Kelly for Senate.
Sick of gray, gloomy winter hibernation? At Kohl's, you can make spring come early with colorful accents that brighten up your home, like vibrant cookware and decor, cozy bedding and towels. Plus, Kohl's Rewards members save 15% on home purchases. So shop Kohl's Home Refresh and move on to spring. The weather will catch up eventually. Select styles. Offer ends March 1st. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You know Minocqua Brewing Company ships right to you because drinking progressively shouldn't require a road trip. You need to try it is and always will be the Gulf of Mexico Mexican Lager. Yeah, that's the real name because when our, let's be generous and say, cognitively adventurous president tried to erase 5 centuries of geographic history with an executive order, the sane half of America grabbed a cold one and said, nah, it's crisp, it's Mexican style, and it pairs beautifully with common sense. And the Freedom Trail Kolsch, smooth, easy drinking, inspired by World War II escape routes that saved lives fleeing Nazi tyranny. Because resistance isn't just a bumper sticker, it's a tradition worth toasting. Order online anytime at MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. They'll ship it right to your door. And for our Collar County friends, find them locally at our Tolly Wine and Company in Rockford, Bootleggers Liquors in Frankfurt, Westside Liquor in Morris, Liquor World in Kankakee, and the Deli Llama Store and Cafe in Lake Villa. Minocqua Brewing Company, progressive beer for people who still give a damn.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation. Joining me in studio is my guest co-host, Carmen Navarro Gercone. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk. I feel like you're always here when the Grange Restaurant Week folks are promoting. And you found a restaurant last year, didn't you?
I did, yes.
That's
and
great.
We did. My husband and I did stop in.
So good. It's a good little trip, too.
It's always about food or drinks.
Plus, you could always take Metro if you wanted there. That's the way to really fly. It's my
for
favorite.
me, I just go straight down.
That's true.
It's easy for me to get to. First Avenue straight down.
Such great. It's such a cute little area,
It
too.
really is.
Very nice. So we're going to talk to LaGrange folks in just a little bit about their restaurant. We're going to talk to Dan. We're going to talk about the restaurants that are participating. And then we're going to talk to, I didn't tell you, and I hope it's okay. So we are going to talk about abortion. So I did not run that by you. It's Catholics for Choice coming up at 6:00. So we'll talk to our friend Tanya from there.
I didn't even know an organization like that.
It does. You know what's interesting about that? There actually are there's nuns on a bus who go around educating people about how that abortion is not something that the Bible says you shouldn't do. That God and Jesus never, like John Fugelsang talks about. It's not in the Bible.
I just know how my mom was. My mom's like, what I feel about it is not your problem. That's how she always said. And that's how I raised my daughters. I mean, I'm Catholic and I raised my daughters. What I believe or don't believe is not your problem.
Exactly. So there you go. And then coming up at 6:30, we're going to talk to a rare disease expert. This weekend is rare disease. Maybe tomorrow is Rare Disease Awareness Month. And now that, we always knew that Declan had some rare disorder. Mm-hmm. Now that we found he's the 53rd person in the world with it.
That's amazing.
And a lot of other people have diseases and disorders where they don't know where to turn for support. So we're going to talk about that at 6:30. Nice. Right now, we'll take some phone calls. We've got Jim on the line. Jim, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, Patti. Carmen, I thought about you about 3 weeks ago. I heard Carmen the Opera by Bizet.
Yes.
Hey, you ever seen that opera, Carmen?
I have. Yes.
Were you forced to?
No, but I mean, she's a marvelous character, a really a highly developed character. The music is beautiful. Yeah. But anyway, good. I was dying to say that if you were ever on again. But, Patti, think of now, Trump is going to put JD in charge of all fraud, everywhere, anywhere, at all times, anywhere on the planet Earth. Now, remember when he put Pence in charge of COVID? How well that turned out. Yeah. Like they had any credentials at all to take over a job like that. Yeah. But J.D. Vance has any job to do this. And what about this horrible report from NPR? He raped a 14-year-old girl that was traded onto by a 13-year-old girl from this insane person onto Trump. You know what kills me? Now, these are old men, 55 years old. Maybe you've been in law enforcement, Carmen. What do you think? Is it rape? Isn't really? It isn't for an orgasm. It's more of a control thing.
It's all about. It's all about power and control. It's all
look
about
what I can do, and we're this club, this weird sex club. Like
we can do whatever we want, when we want, to whom we want. It is all about power and control.
Yes, and what's strange about it is, you know, like you got Charlie. Remember Charlie Rose? You thought butter would melt in his mouth. Here he is. He's a mental case around women. There's so many of them. Bill O'Reilly, the guy on Channel 2 that kind of looked like a squirrel. You know, he was another one. You know, they have no self-control. There must be some kind of where they're. I don't know what that is. I mean, you've been in law enforcement. What do you think that is? I don't know
what. It's just being a woman. It's not even law enforcement. When you're around a certain type of man that just makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Like you can sense it. And when people say, you know what, there's something about him I just don't get, and it comes out of a man's mouth, I said, come around the corner. I'll tell you exactly what it is. So there's some men who can sense when a man isn't right either. They just don't know exactly what it is. Yep. But yeah, that's definitely what it is. It's all about power and control and wanting to control the space, not just the people in it.
Who's calling you? That's a very loud buzz.
There we go. It's a scam.
You see me looking around, I'm like,
scam
is that my phone buzzing? Have a good night, Jim. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. We have to run to a break. Let me see if I can take one more call. Let me get to Victor in Salem. Hey, Victor, you're on with me and Carmen Navarro Gercone.
Hey, how you doing? You know, you're doing a great job again, as usual. You're God's little messenger.
Oh, I don't know about that, but thank you.
Patti Vasquez and company. I just want to say, you know, how evil and sinister is this administration and J.D. Vance? He knows that cutting off $240 million worth of funding to Medicaid is going to cause so much pain and suffering, and people are going to die because they can't get their meds.
Exactly.
What the hell is wrong with these people?
Oh,
you know, and on this trumped-up fraud case that they're trying to build, they can run an investigation without cutting off $250 million. This is deliberately done. You know, it's just these are the vilest people I've ever seen. And they're the government. Yeah. So the people.
Yeah, it's going to cause a lot of suffering.
I don't understand how anyone can take away medication and medical services to children and the elderly, knowing that it's going to cause pain, extreme suffering, and death.
Yeah.
These people should all be taken out and deported. J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, the whole crew. I am sick and tired of it.
I know. They're not going anywhere. What we have to do is keep showing up and being loud. So, you know, I'm going to do that, Victor. Thank you so much, my friend. Stay safe, okay?
You take care, Patti Vasquez.
Thank you. Let me take one more call so we can go to the break and talk to Paul Farahvar. Hey, what's on your mind, William?
Hi, this is William Hallahan. I'm actually running as a write-in candidate for Illinois State Representative of Congressional District 20.
Oh.
Because nobody is on the ballot in the Democratic primary. Currently, the representative, nobody. Yeah, I only found it out.
I say representative. So it's not congressional. It's State Rep Stevens, who's the mayor of Rosemont. They couldn't find. They didn't feel the Democrat.
They never do.
It's so funny.
So I actually,
nobody did.
As soon as you said your name, William, I knew who you are because I live in the district. They never have a Democratic candidate.
They called me. They called me 3 years ago. Yeah,
it's almost like a deal between the two sides. We'll let you have that side, but
Madigan
don't touch
did
this side. Yeah,
Madigan did this. Who was the guy before Stevens? It was it was a guy and
McAuliffe.
And then his dad. He took over for his dad. They held that seat for like 30 some years. Isn't that right? I mean, it's forever. Republicans been in that seat, and the Democrats.
The Republicans. Yeah, the Republicans have been in it for a long time, and they've had the mayorships for 70 years.
All right,
but there's a direct conflict of interest.
Enough about them. Let's learn about you for a minute. Can I? Oh boy, I want to do a segment with you, but tell folks about your campaign and what they need to know to write you in.
Okay, well, one thing is if they want to talk to me, we're holding a town hall tomorrow from 7 to 10 p.m. at 7132 North Harlem, which is near the corner of Toohey and Harlem.
Okay.
So that you can come and go as you want, sort of thing. But I'm actually an attorney myself. I also have a engineering degree, so I practice patent law mostly, a little bit of other intellectual property. I'm a dad of 3 children. They're mixed race. My wife is black, and she's also an immigrant. So there's actually Asians in my extended family, and Hispanics. There's a lot of different things. Basically, a melting pot of the U.S. Is my family.
Can you do me a favor? Can you hold on the line, and I'd like to take down your phone number and maybe reach out to us so we can do a proper interview, because it's sort of hard. I'm slamming you. I'm already late for the break, and I've got a guest on the phone. So I would like to have a proper conversation with you, so folks know that they have an option.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and that is which state rep seat is the number? Is that 20th?
20th.
It's got to be the 20th, right? Because 1920, right? Gotcha.
Yeah, it's 20.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, someone called me a couple of years ago because I live about a mile south of the district.
I live in it. I'm
you
right
should have run.
No
Sorry.
way.
Well, William is running.
Yes.
So William, let's get a proper interview, and I'll take your phone number down in just a moment. All right, stand by. We've got comedian Paul Farahvar on the line. We'll talk about his zany show coming up, as well as some more legal talk with him and Carmen Navarro Gercone on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Look for clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 31 degrees and winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20. Friday, sunshine with a high temperature of 61 and southwesterly winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low temperature of 32, northwest winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, a little bit of light snow with a high of 36, cloudy Sunday, high of 31. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 42.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Tom Hartman.
Autocrats generally, particularly those autocrats who have narcissistic personality disorder and are sociopaths, as is, in my opinion, Trump, typically do not tolerate high-profile people around them. They want to be the star of the show, and that's certainly been the history of Donald Trump. The only people that he will tolerate around him are people who, when he says, kiss my ass, they fall to their knees.
The Tom Hartman Radio Program, weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Who is Kevin Ryan? Hey, that's me. I'm a Chicago public school teacher, union member, and Marine Corps veteran. Most importantly, I am a New Deal Democrat from a new generation, and I am running for the United States Senate to make our government work for all of us, not just the 1%. Now, you might not have heard of me because, well, I am just like you. I don't have millions of dollars to spend on TV ads, I'm not backed by a billionaire, and I've been excluded from the debates because I refuse to raise millions of dollars from the 1%. Instead, I am backed by ordinary people like you. I'm the only candidate to campaign in all 102 counties in my campaign school bus, and we fund our campaign by simply passing a hat around. So we thought we'd spend some of that money to introduce our campaign to you on WCPT Radio. If you want to send a real progressive to the United States Senate and not another bought and paid for Democrat, go to kevinryan.com. Spread the word and vote for the candidate endorsed by Illinois progressives. My name is Kevin Ryan. I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by people of Illinois and Kevin Ryan.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue to drive it home. Joining me in studio is my guest co-host in studio, Carmen Navarro Gercone. She is law enforcement for over 29, 30 years. All the years, sorry.
It sounds forever. Just
all
a lot.
All the years. And comedian Paul Farahvar, recovering attorney, now comedian, performing at Zanies soon. Hey, Paul, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh,
hey,
you know, the world's on fire. Whatever. So you have a show. You have a show at Zanies coming up on March 12th. Which club are you at?
I'm headlining the Old Town Club on Thursday, March 12th. Excited to be back in Chicago to do shows again.
Yeah, you've been traveling a ton, haven't you?
Yeah, this is the first week I've been in my own bed for more than 48 hours this year, so it was pretty fun.
Okay, so you and Carmen. So Carmen is currently serving in law enforcement, working. You know, she works on a lot of great programs and does her best to thread the needle of the conversations that we have politically in regards, especially when it comes to ICE. You break down for folks like where ICE is making some horrible mistakes. What's on your mind recently? Like, did you see the ICE blower, the attorney who resigned? What were your thoughts on his testimony?
I thought the testimony was accurate. It was nothing that I didn't know already. I think the one thing that I was too busy to do a video on, and I'm hoping tonight I'll have a chance to, is the attorneys that have resigned in Minneapolis.
Oh, yeah.
There was a second batch last week of career attorneys, some of which who were appointed by Trump, who resigned after the shootings in Minneapolis. That is such a red flag for anyone that knows anything about the law, because essentially it's what's called a noisy withdrawal. The attorney is signaling to the court that typically when someone withdraws as counsel, it's because their client is in the civil, let's just say in regular matters, their client is engaged in criminal conduct.
Okay.
So for a prosecutor, a federal prosecutor, to resign, that means they have seen things. And
that means they know things. It's not just things they've heard anymore, which they can ignore. They have actual knowledge of stuff, and they can't defend it.
Correct.
Wow.
And the problem here is they can't, because of the attorney-client privilege, and in this situation, their client technically is the government. They're not at liberty to, be a whistleblower because they've seen things that are either being suppressed or, worst case scenario, they've seen criminal activity that's happening, or the client, in this case the government, is intending to commit a crime. And so they have withdrawn as counsel. And what all the courts that are now going to face these cases now know is, okay, that's that raises the stakes and raises their awareness that something is up.
Wow.
So that is a huge, huge thing that's not really being covered in the news as much as it should be. People should pay attention to that because, look, these are the people that are investigating, that are doing the arrests for ICE's, whoever ICE arrests, and more importantly, the investigations that the Minnesota police and Ellison, the Attorney General, are not privy to because they're not cooperating with Minneapolis police. Specifically on the two shooting cases of Alex Freddie and Renee Good.
Yeah, it's maddening. I'm sorry, how many attorneys altogether? I know there were like 6 within a week or so of Renee Good's murder, but how many altogether have resigned or with
there were
loud quit?
I believe the number is 13 now, but I don't know if that includes attorneys and staff. But I know that the number doubled last week. And the main guy who withdrew was a Trump appointee who actually had multiple convictions in the fraud case that Trump was, talking so much about at the State of the Union.
He was managing those fraud cases, meaning he might have learned something that he was being forced to do that wasn't legit, legally sound.
No. So those cases were not. Those cases had already been. The fraud cases had already been prosecuted. So this withdrawal, the noisy withdrawal, took place after the investigation of the shootings started.
Okay.
So it's not related to the fraud. The only thing that it's related to fraud on is the fact that now they don't have anybody to prosecute the remaining fraud cases, including the woman that was the head of the whole thing. So,
wow, it is.
So it's kind of like shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, and these
normal.
These are highly sought after jobs. I mean, like, this is a dream job for some people, is to be in the DOJ, isn't it?
Not anymore.
Used to be.
Oh, that's funny.
It's they let go. When I was in D.C. last year doing shows, a lot of my peers, my connections on social media, who were lawyers, had left or had been fired that were in the DOJ. And what you saw happening, at least back then, this was almost a year ago, they were hiring people out of school without any experience that were loyalists to the agenda. So, for example, one lady I saw on my LinkedIn was just out of law school, went to a second or third tier law school, and now was in charge of a whole large city. I don't want to say the city, but a metropolis that rhymes with Hotlanta. And who didn't have any experience, but was like a pretty blonde girl who, just graduated from a second or third tier law school. And so what you're going to see is, and Patty, you and I have talked about this. The silver lining of this is that the lack of experience, the lack of ability to do anything that they want to do will prevent them from succeeding.
Yeah, but the damage that they'll do along the way, like my concern is if there's no one to prosecute the cases, but you've already been charged, your life is in limbo and in turmoil until they figure it out. So do they really care if they have no one to prosecute them? They've already turned your life.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I don't even think they care.
Well, yes, that's part of it, but there is the positive side. Again, I'm just trying to find the silver lining here. The fact that what you're seeing now is because they don't have anyone that is capable, they are now withdrawing a lot of cases, especially with ICE, because they don't have the defense. They don't have, and there are rules that they have to follow. Judges are holding them to the fire, saying, "Look, these people have a right to a speedy trial." Blah, blah, blah. And so I've seen personally, friends of mine that were arrested by ICE that their cases have been withdrawn, mostly because they had no merit or there were other problems along the way. But yeah, they're screwing up a lot of things. And yes, there is permanent damage here. But the silver lining is that they're so ineffective. And you're seeing that every day. You're seeing this Epstein thing today, for example, where they have to go back and look and say, oh, did we ineffectively cover up the cover up? and they're just so not talented that they can't even do things right because they don't have people in place that can do things that have experience. And you don't need a lot of experience to do a lot of the redacting files. That's something people do right out of law school when you're waiting for your bar exam results.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even do that right.
Wow.
So they have the most. I don't think when Patty, when you say this is a sought after job, I don't think anyone wants to be, painted with the brush of this administration. So a lot of lawyers who wanted to be career prosecutors are probably waiting this out to see how it goes. And a lot of people who can't find a job, who were in their lower half of their law school, like myself, are probably.
Paul's like, do I dust off that resume?
Are probably going to the are going to the office, and especially if they're willing to sacrifice their moral compass.
Yeah. That's comedian Paul Farahvar, recovering attorney. He'll be at Zanies on March 12th. That's Zanies in Old Town. That's a Thursday. It'll be a great show. I think it's one of the best nights for comedy is Thursday because it's almost the weekend. And you
I do too.
You feel like you're kind of doing something naughty by being out on a school night. That's all I'm saying. So go see comedian Paul Farahvar. Go to Zanies.com. Paul, is it paulfcomedy.com?
Paul F. Comedy is my website. They can follow me on Instagram, Paul Farahvar. If they put in Paul F-A-R, it pops up.
There you go. I love it, Paul. Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to having you in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. When we come back, we're going to talk to our friends from LaGrange and talk about Restaurant Week in LaGrange. All kinds of restaurant weeks going on around the Chicagoland area. Go out and support your local businesses and enjoy some good food. We're in the studio with Carmen Navarro Gercone, guest co-hosting for the show today. I'm so glad she's here because we have stuff to talk about when you're not listening. Sorry.
WCPT Radio is going to Will County to meet and interview Will County Democrats running in the March 17th primary. Meet me, WCPT's Joan Esposito, and Will County Democrats Thursday, March 5th at Mojo's Cajun and Caribbean Restaurant located on Lockport Avenue, 1 block west of Route 59 in downtown Plainfield. Candidates being interviewed include Will County Undersheriff Dan Jungles running for Will County Sheriff, Michelle Stiff running for Will County Clerk, School District Superintendent Teresa Rouse running for Regional Office of Education Superintendent, and several county board candidates. Will County Democratic candidates will be interviewed live on the Joan Esposito Show. It's all happening Thursday, March 5th from 2 to 5 p.m. at Mojo's in Plainfield. For directions, call Mojo's at 815-230-2790.
You know, winter in Chicago hits hard. Is your home ready to stay warm and energy efficient? At Green Attic, they help you fight back against the cold. They're Chicagoland's trusted experts in attic insulation, spray foam, crawl space encapsulation, and mold remediation, solutions that lock in warmth and cut your heating bills. If your upstairs feels freezing or your furnace never stops running, your attic might be the culprit. Their team seals in comfort and stops energy waste at the source. Need roofing? Their sister company, Green Attic Roofing, offers asphalt, flat, premium roofs, and even Tesla solar roofs, all backed by a 10-year labor warranty and instant online quotes. Winter storms don't wait. Replace that aging roof now and protect your investment. With over 15 years of experience and more than 1,000 five-star reviews, Green Attic delivers real comfort, real savings, season after season. Visit greenattic.com for a free insulation consultation or go to greenatticroofing.com for your instant roofing estimate. Green Attic, healthy home, happy family.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue to drive it home. I am so excited to have in studio with me Carmen Navarro Gercone, and she seems to always be here when we talk to our friends from LaGrange about Restaurant Week. So today is no different. Do you remember what restaurant you ended up picking up? We'll have to look it up because I know that it was because of our guests that were on the line with us. From LaGrange, we have our friend. Hold on, I have to get all my notes together. We have Dan Mulka on the line. Dan, is that the way I say your last name, my friend?
Yep, perfectly correct. Thank you so much.
Of course, Executive Director, LaGrange Business Association. So yes, Carmen was with me last year when we talked about all the great restaurants, and she found a great spot to go and dine. You guys have such wonderful businesses and a community over there. Tell us about Restaurant Week.
Restaurant Week is my favorite time of the year because I have excuse to go to 21 different restaurants and I'm like, I have to do it for work. And what a better job could I have? And it's a beautiful thing because we have so many different restaurants ranging from, kind of simple and quick service to fancy sit down, all different types of palates. And, it fits every type of wallet, too. We're a premier dining destination here out in the suburbs. So we want to tell everybody, come on down. You're going to have an amazing meal no matter where you go.
And if I recall correctly, you have not one, but two metro stops that drop people off very close to these restaurants, don't you?
That is right. So kind of depending where you're going, and we're probably, 20 minutes, if that, on the metro there?
Exactly.
So we try to make it convenient, walkable, and, you can drive as well.
What are some of the special events of this? Obviously, a lot of restaurants will have a prefix. I saw that restaurants in my community, they've already sent out their brunch menus, their dinner menus, the events they have. What are some of the highlights that you would like to share with our audience about what the restaurants have in store for them?
One of the best restaurants you'll find anywhere, Marco's Kitchen. It's award-winning, and it's one of those when you see different things from like a pan-seared filet mignon, oven-roasted pistachio, New Zealand lamb chops. I mean, even a dessert, bananas Foster creme brulee.
Nice.
I mean,
hello.
And meanwhile, everybody driving home is like, "Ooh,
I just sealed my lips together so I wouldn't drool on the mic. Thank you very much.
I know.
Oh, I've gained 5 pounds just marketing the thing.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
And tell us a little bit. How long have you been with the Grange Business Association?
About a year and a half now.
Oh,
so
all right.
Actually, I'm kind of, fairly new to the LaGrange area, but, there's so many great favorites, and you see why everybody wants to come. Everybody wants to live in that area. Just on the food alone, I'll move right there.
Yeah, no kidding. So, folks, you've got just a wide range of options. I already looked at there's like 3 sushi joints alone. There's a ramen place.
Yeah, I think last year I ended up going, I think there was an Indian restaurant.
Ooh.
Kama
Kama Bistro.
Was that the name of it?
Bistro.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's where we ended up last year. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Oh, yeah. And they have different things, chicken tikka. They have a masala grilled cheese. That's one of these things where I'm like, I got to try that one. That's kind of on my, I have to make my own little list of, all right, what do I need to check off of different items.
Well, and one of the reasons I used to think, I don't want a prefix. I don't want like what the chef tells me. And then I did it once and I have never looked back. Like, yeah, chef, tell me what you want to dazzle me with. Love it.
Yeah, that's what I did. I said, listen, I don't really know. I'm like, what is it? And they brought out 2 or 3 different things for my husband and I, and everything we ate was good.
Yeah, and a lot of our restaurants, it's prefix, but they may give you 2 or 3 options on the course.
Exactly.
And they did.
So
yes.
It's a perfect excuse to bring a couple people and kind of get one of everything.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that. Again, we are talking to our friend Dan from the Grange Business Association. It's Restaurant Week. Tell us about the dates. What does the schedule look like for everybody, and where can they get more information?
We start tomorrow.
Oh, I'm glad you're on.
LaGrangeRestaurantWeek.com. We go all the way through March 8th, so there's plenty of time to call and get a reservation. Or, if you just want to kind of, come on a whim, you can usually also find a great meal as well within walking distance. And,
I love it.
It's going to be a great time.
So, folks, it's running from tomorrow, February 27th through March 8th. There will be exclusive menus from the local restaurants in LaGrange. We're talking again to Dan Mulka, who's the village president. Not the village president. You're the LaGrange Business Association. I know. I was like, wait a minute. Surprise! Ta-da.
Sorry, Mark.
And by the way, for folks who don't know, I really do think folks sleep on how much of a culinary destination LaGrange is. It's such a cool area.
My husband and I like to get on the motorcycle in the summertime and ride over there, and we walk, and then we stop and get some ice cream at the end of it all before we get back on the bike and come back.
Yeah, I love it. And plus, go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, when you said ice cream, there's so many good desserts. That's one thing where, these prefix menus, it's your excuse to get dessert. We have a place that has a flourless chocolate brownie with whiskey cherry ice cream.
What?
Barrel House Social, if you're looking it up online.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Well, that's the thing. And again, there's great businesses, so you can make a whole day out of it. Go early, go get a lunch at one place, maybe get some starters someplace else. Check out the local businesses and shops, right? Just make a whole day of it.
Yeah.
And I believe we have some weather, some nice, tomorrow is going to be nice out, folks.
Yeah. Saturday's going to be cold again, but tomorrow's going to be nice.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you can get out there early, I bet you everyone's doing lunch.
You know what? You're going to see my husband has a day off tomorrow, and the kids will be in school. So you're going to see me on day one. I just looked up the Barrel House Social. They have a 2-course brunch and lunch menu.
Nice. Yeah, I'm telling you. She's drooling.
I am.
Be careful with your phone. I don't have rice for you to dry it off.
Sorry.
And I kid you not with Barrel House. This is the one place I say, try the Brussels sprouts, which are like, why is somebody actually even saying Brussels sprouts? But sriracha and lemon on top, it's...
What?
I'm like, this is amazing, and I never would have guessed it.
That's wonderful. I think it's so funny. Like, one of the things that they brag about, they have 3 restaurants for every 1,000 people in LaGrange. What a great stat to have. Yes.
Do they all have the same hours? Like,
I would say mostly lunch and dinner for a lot of our places. Okay. There's a couple ones that are open. Like, we do have different breakfast places. Some of them aren't participating, but like Prasa now has an early morning breakfast, things like that. But and some of them go, later at night as well, going up to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, depending on the place.
Nice. One of our listeners would like to shout out Wooden Paddle as one of the participants of. Tell us about Wooden Paddle.
Wooden Paddle is probably the newest kid on the block there in LaGrange. They also have a one in Lamont as well. But, they're known for their wood-fired pizzas. But I like to tell everybody, the pizzas are amazing, but they have some other great things. I mean, they have a ribeye on the menu.
Nice.
I mean, it's one of those things you wouldn't expect. And their drinks are amazing. Please drink responsibly.
Yes. Well, hence my encouragement of using Metra to get there.
I'm sweating, and it's not a power surge. I'm looking at all the food. I will be there tomorrow. Milk Stop Cafe. The picture they just put in looks like shrimp and grit. I don't know what this is.
Oh, shrimp and grits that's magic. Oh boy, she's gone for the rest of the show. Dan, see what you did. You've ruined my guest co-host.
Bacon habanero jam on that one.
Oh, man. Well, we are sending folks out. It's Restaurant Week starting tomorrow. That's February 27th through March 8th. And remind folks the website they can go to find out more information.
LaGrangeRestaurantWeek.com.
Excellent. And for more information about the LaGrange businesses and the association, go to lgba.com. And you can find out more about the entire community. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dan. Have a great Restaurant Week.
Will do, and thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Our pleasure.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Yeah, see, you're all hungry. I feel like we find all kinds of new restaurants.
I just texted my husband just so he doesn't make any other plans. And I'm texting him right now saying, this is what we're doing and where we're going tomorrow.
Excellent. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. We have more guests coming up in the next hour. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to talk to our friend Tina Garza of Catholics for Choice. And then coming up a little bit later, we're going to talk to our friend from the EverythingALS. Indu Navar is a founder of EverythingALS. We're going to talk about rare disease awareness coming up. After this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. Thanks for hanging out with us. Ta-da.
King County deserves leadership that understands our community because it's been a part of who I am. I have spent more than 2 decades serving King County, rising through the ranks of the sheriff's office to become undersheriff. From day one, I've worked to protect our neighborhoods while treating people with dignity, fairness, and respect. I know that real public safety is about more than responding to calls. It's about building trust. I believe public safety works best when law enforcement and the community work together through transparency, accountability, and the responsible use of resources. As Sheriff of King County, I will focus on strengthening community partnerships, supporting mental health collaboration, and ensuring the Sheriff's Office is prepared to meet today's challenges while planning responsibly for tomorrow's needs. This election, choose leadership you can trust. Vote Amy Johnson for King County Sheriff, moving public safety forward.
Paid for by friends of Amy Johnson.
Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has unveiled an anti-fraud package. Ed Donahue reports it comes after the Trump administration threatened to halt Medicaid funds.
Vice President J.D. Vance says there will be a temporary halt to some Medicaid funding in Minnesota because of fraud.
You had Somali fraudsters who were saying that their kids were autistic even though they weren't. They were collecting a fat check from all of you, and they were getting rich from it.
The governor's response?
This is a targeted retribution against a state that the president doesn't like.
Tim Walz says the government is using false information as a pretext.
CMS's own numbers say Medicaid error rates in Minnesota are 2.1%. National average is 6.4%. Why are you coming to a state with the lowest in this.
Walz unveiled a package of legislation intended to fight fraud in public programs in Minnesota. I'm Ed Donahue.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's told members of Congress she had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's or Ghislaine Maxwell's crimes. She gave a 6-hour closed-door deposition to the House Oversight Committee, starting off 2 days of depositions that will include former President Bill Clinton. The ranking Democrat on the panel, Robert Garcia, noted a Republican committee member leaked a photo of today's session that ended up on social media.
She herself requested that the press and the public be allowed into the deposition. That was denied. And so at a very minimum, they need to immediately release the full transcript. And we're hopeful that tomorrow, for the former president, that the press would be allowed in and the public as well. That's been the request.
The CEO of Anthropic says the artificial intelligence company cannot in good conscience accede to Pentagon demands to allow wider use of its technology. And Netflix is declining to raise its offer to buy Warner Bros. Discovery's studio and streaming business. This after Warner's board announced Paramount's revised offer was superior to the deal it had struck with Netflix. This is AP News. The captain of the U.S. women's hockey team is speaking out after a perceived slight by President Trump. Gethin Coolbaugh has the story.
Hillary Knight says the Olympic gold medal winning U.S. women's hockey team is moving past what she calls a distasteful joke by President Donald Trump. Trump drew attention after telling the gold medal winning U.S. men's team he would also have to invite the women's team to the White House. Knight said the video of Trump's remarks is taking attention away from the respectful relationship between the men's and women's teams. Goaltender Jeremy Swayman said the men in the moment, quote, should have reacted differently. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
And Brady Tkachuk of the men's team says a White House TikTok video falsely paints him as insulting Canadians. He calls the clip clearly fake and says the audio and lip movement do not match. The video uses fabricated audio with a bleeped slur. Tkachuk plays for the Ottawa Senators. There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Look for clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 31 degrees and winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20. Friday, sunshine with a high temperature of 61 and southwesterly winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low temperature of 32. Northwest winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, a little bit of light snow with a high of 36. Cloudy Sunday, high of 31. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 43.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. For all you sweet tooths out there, let's look at some chocolate brands that support the Democrat Party. Hershey. Hershey gives more to Democrats. As in 2024, 58% of their donations in politics went to the Democrat Party. Toll House. Toll House is owned by Nestle. Now, Nestle stopped giving to politics in 2020, where 71% of their donations went to Democrats. But in 2024, some of their senior leaders donated. Now their political donations, 78% of those donations went to Democrats. And if you like chocolate cake, let's talk about Pillsbury and Betty Crocker. They're both owned by General Mills. And out of all their political donations, 77% of General Mills' political donations go to Democrat candidates and causes. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation. Joining me in studio is guest co-host Carmen Navarro Gercone. She's a law enforcement expert. She's served for over 30 years in law enforcement, local.
Even though I'm only 21.
Exactly. And she's also former candidate for Cook County Sheriff, and she works on a task force with the Cook County
City of
Chicago,
and Cook County Violence Against Women
Illinois,
Task
right?
Force.
It's all sort of levels of municipalities and
city, county. It's the first task force of its kind. It's city, county, and state. It's government fixing government, all government together, trying to kind of thread their departments together to create a better safety net for victims and children.
And I think people don't realize, how it can be challenging from different departments to.
What is, because everyone has their statutory obligation, right?
Right.
What they're required to do and their job, their role,
right.
And so those are the silos. But then there's the moral and ethical that comes along with it, and that's where you need strong leaders to agree to put their hands out and kind of fill those gaps, because that's where we're literally losing women and children today.
Oh my God. It was heartbreaking to hear some of the stories that folks shared. Having been in a situation myself in my 20s, it's part shame of of letting something go, of not realizing how much danger you're in. And then by the time and I had a situation with a stalker. It was challenging to go in and try to ask for a restraining order or order of protection. It's nice to know that there's a lot of mindfulness being put into this sort of work.
There is. And again, because it's so siloed and no one knows exactly whose responsibility it is, that the first reaction when something goes wrong, which is when someone is murdered, is to point fingers. And so that's what we were trying to address. And that's what this task force allows. So with Commissioner Donna Miller and Alderman Silvana Tabarez leading it on the city side and Donna Miller leading it on the county, we've got some really good ideas from a lot of government offices. So it's everybody.
Where can people go to find out more information about if they find themselves in a situation where they need help?
So what we always tell them, there's always the the domestic violence crisis lines, but the network has great connections online. I can make sure we put some websites up later, but it depends on your situation, right? Not everyone wants to go get the order of protection. Not everyone is prepared to go forward that way. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to. Sometimes you need emergency shelter. But that's the other thing. We don't have enough beds. There aren't enough beds in Illinois. So our advocate community is working really hard to find funding to build that up. And you hear a lot of good organizations out there, and they have money, but the resources are not there. That's why we want to focus on what government can do with the laws, with policy, with law enforcement can do with response, what the schools can do. Everyone, park districts, they all, anywhere that touches family, people don't understand, can be helpful.
Places that are familiar, places where you trust somebody. I actually remember we were working with a woman who had a story, an incredible story, where her family, her culturally, had been forced into a marriage, and her family wouldn't help her get out of an abusive relationship. And so she, as a hairdresser, that was some place where she had a network and was able to kind of come up with the support and the assistance, even things like, I don't want to go into any details, what help people get out of these situations in case it makes somebody else vulnerable. Yeah. But it's almost like an underground railroad for some folks.
For some people, it has to be like that. And that's why we feel like this whole approach is the best thing. While we keep supporting advocates and getting their funding, we feel that taxpayers are already paying the government. So whatever government should already be doing, let's make sure that at the very least they're working together. And these leaders it's at the forefront. And you know what I found amazing is when we went to the city council, a lot of the aldermen shared personal stories. They've been through it or family members have been through it. So the motivation to address domestic violence and violence against women is very personal.
Yeah.
Which is what's driving them all. So that's good and bad. It's horrible that you had to have that kind of experience, but at least anything else you disagree on, you're able to set that aside because the focus is saving women and children.
I'm so grateful for the work that you guys do. I also, you mentioned something as we were coming back from the news, which is Trump is seeking to declare a national emergency, saying that it's not on my Zoom screen, Lady B. No, it's not. I don't have any access to the Zoom screen. So I've asked her to give us a call at 773-763-9278. There's nothing showing. I know it happens once in a while. We're having some Zoom ticks now and then. It's growing pains with Zoom. So you mentioned that he's saying that China interfered with our 2020 election. So now he's trying to prove that he won. That's his big thing. What gains would they have? Like, if anything, the rest, like, powers like China would rather have someone who's unstable like him in office.
I don't know is this a power grab to just take hold of control these next elections as well? Like, if that's what he declares, then what happens?
And based on what? I mean, whose investigation? Your own, right? Tulsi Gabbard went in there. Yeah. Show us the homework. Had you ever heard anything about China being involved in our election? I mean, I thought it was. I mean, I know that. So is this Chinagate? Now do we get to say like?
Yeah, I don't understand. It is craziness.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I want to thank all of our sponsors for giving us the opportunity to discuss topics like this. Thank you to our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar and make an appointment to talk to Peter Sorellis. Maybe it's time to get solar panels on your house or business. I also want to thank our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company. Go to minocquabrewingcompany.com. Maybe it's time to get, your order for Progressive Brews. I mean, the spring is right around the corner. You want to sit in your backyard.
You know what? After reading this, I may need one right now. Seriously.
I only have coffee in the fridge. I'm sorry. I only have woke coffee in the fridge. I apologize for that. I don't have anything fun to give you to take the edge off. Yeah. So for folks who don't know, declaring a national emergency gives him the opportunity to suspend elections, which seems to be what he is angling for, which is yay. This is but here's the thing: MAGA will take any lie he dumps in front of them and just go with it. Yep.
Like it is crazy. Talk about just being blind.
Mm-hmm. So draft orders to declare national emergency on elections circulating. The draft is written to allow him to label mail-in ballots and voting machines as agents of foreign intelligence. Yep. So that's happening. At least that's what he's trying to do.
That's what he's trying to do.
Yep.
That's insane.
It's a very maddening situation. At any rate, I'm glad that we were able to talk about it and process it. What are your thoughts on it, folks? 773-763-9278. Here's the thing. The nice thing about waking up in the morning after having conversations like this is you can make a beautiful cup of coffee from Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to Pride Coffee Roasters. They sponsored my viewing of the State of the Union. They kicked in for a 6-pack Old Style.
I know. I saw. I so appreciate you. I so appreciate you because I could not watch that mess. Boring. My husband was in a front room trying to watch it. He walked into the bedroom because I was, of course, laying in bed watching those dumb things. My brain was fried.
He's no socialist commie.
No,
he was trying to watch.
No, but he was trying to watch. Because trying to learn. Like what. He comes in, he goes, I can't anymore. That's what he said to me.
I can't do it anymore.
I look like, oh.
Well, they sponsored my my viewing of the State of the Union, and then I enjoyed some of their coffee. I had the Resist blend when I woke up the next day because we, in solidarity, we drink wonderful coffee blends like the Resist Movement blend, medium roast, equal blend of the Dominican Republic beans that they have, and the Arabica beans from Asia. In the cup were notes of blueberry cobbler, a little chocolate malt with a hint of warming spice. So that's my Pride Coffee Roasters. And they'll be at the Edgewater Farmers Market this Saturday. And you can go to the Broadview Armory, and maybe I'll be there. I wandered around a couple weeks ago, and I enjoyed it. I'm just saying. Hey, here's our friend Tina Garza from Garza. I'm sorry. That was so Chicago of me, Tina. Tina Garza from Catholics for Choice joins us on the line. My apologies for any tech issues we had with Zoom, but thank you for calling us. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, you are, number one, you are totally fine. I'm in the Zoom waiting room, and I'm like, maybe I was supposed to call in. So I'm happy I received a call. Thank you.
I don't know what Zoom meeting you're in because maybe there's another Zoom running at the same time. And I ask, how many screens are there in front of me right now, would you say? There's like 7 screens.
You've got 7, yeah.
Yeah. There's, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, you've got 7. And this one's facing me, or 8. It would be 8.
Yes, so there you go. So, Tina, I have to tell you, Carmen Navarro Gercone is my guest co-host, and she grew up Catholic and is so excited to find out an organization like yours exists.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
We love that. That is the best thing to hear. I'm so glad.
Yay. So tell us about how long has this organization been around?
Yeah, so Catholics for Choice is just over 50 years old. It came following Roe v. Wade, when a group of everyday Catholic women said that the way that the church talks about abortion, the way that the church talks about reproductive rights is not consistent with what we as everyday Catholics believe. And we have been moving and grooving ever since. So about 50 years, national organization, doing work all across the country.
And with that work, that of course, much more challenging times now that there are abortion restrictions across the country. What was the reaction? I believe they have backed down, but Tennessee was attempting to pass legislation making abortion punishable by death. What kind of conversations did you all have around that, topics like that? Because I know it's not the only state.
Oh, absolutely not. So the most important thing for us at Catholics for Choice is that, one, we want to make sure that people of faith, including Catholics, know that they are in the majority when it comes to support for abortion access. So when we hear things like abortion is going to be punishable by death, it is not in accordance with someone's tradition, it is a sin, we need people to remember that that is not inherently true. And so it makes these kinds of laws particularly egregious, especially when organizers and advocates who like to claim the title of being pro-life are those who are behind this kind of legislation or push for legislation. So, we're continuing to have conversations about it. This is unfortunately nothing new, and it is unfortunately not something that is surprising, but you cannot help but point out the hypocrisy when something like this is coming into play.
Absolutely. I was telling Carmen, I believe at one time there were nuns on a bus who were going around educating folks around the country, right? Are they still traveling?
From my understanding, they are not. So they're part of a different organization. A lot of their work revolves around immigrants' rights and workers' rights. From my knowledge, not in that direct work, they're not currently doing that. But that is one big piece of the social justice movement in the Catholic Church.
And I think that that's a lot of what Carmen, might not be aware of. Like she said, Catholics for Choice was never on her radar. I knew about it because my husband's family, we were from Evanston, and they were Democrats, and they were very active in the Catholic Church there, and they were Catholics for Choice. That's how I knew about it.
I
had
never, and I was going to church, and at my church, like. They made it very clear, like it never came up. As far as at my parish, as far as they were concerned, it was not a choice.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That is exactly what the bishops and the particularly U.S. Catholic Church want you to believe, is that there is no room on this issue. Yeah. There is no nuance on this issue. You follow what the church says, or you are not in accordance with the church. And that is just fundamentally not true, and also not the everyday experience of the U.S. Catholic. The majority of us are pro-choice.
Yeah, absolutely. All 5 of my children left the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. Because of
not surprising.
Yeah, like and it as being raised Catholic and doing all my sacraments and all of that, it breaks my heart because I have 4 grandchildren. And to me, like, I remember my mom, like, getting baptized and getting, all those, like, it was a big deal. And I have 4 grandchildren. None of my grandchildren are baptized. None of them have made their first communion. And it breaks my heart because it's like a part of my tradition that I grew up with. And
absolutely, I mean,
my kids left the church, and it was because of this.
Yeah, I mean, you are absolutely not alone in this. People leave the church because it is not in alignment with what they know in their conscience to be true. The Catholic Church teaches us that, to follow that will, that conscience that we have been given by God, and to make decisions in accordance with that. And actually teaches that the only sin that is so egregious is not going with your conscience when you're making decisions. And so when we hear about people like your children, like your grandchildren, who are not part of this church that is so beautiful and meaningful to you, and a tradition that you would have liked to pass on to your family, you're absolutely right. It is heartbreaking. And Catholics for Choice is consistently trying to remind people that you have a place in our church, if you have these progressive values, the bishops do not get the final say.
We are talking to Tina Garza with Catholics for Choice, and Carmen seems very excited to be aware of this organization.
I am.
Carmen.
I am. I'm going to try to win my. I already sent them the link to all. I have a family chat. I sent them all the link.
Good.
Yeah, it's my. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I am very excited. That's an understatement.
Let's take a break and continue our conversation, if that's all right, Tina. Do you mind if I'm hanging on for a break?
Please.
Excellent. Again, we're with Tina Garza of Garza for Catholics for Choice, and I will encourage folks to find out more about them. What's the best website for the folks to learn about joining or being more informed about Catholics for Choice?
Yep, super easy, catholicsforchoice.org. Come on in, and we will welcome you.
Outstanding. More in a moment with Tina and our guest co-host today, Carmen Navarro Gercone, in studio with me. More in a moment on Driving It Home with me, Patti Vasquez, on WCPT, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. Hi, Seattle and Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Join me and WCPT Radio at the Southland Friends of Labor 17th Annual Jobs Breakfast. It's Monday, March 2nd in Alsip at Sprinkler Fitters Local 281. This special labor event is free to all active and retired union members and all WCPT listeners. Enjoy a great breakfast and a WCPT special broadcast. I'll be joined by Tom Villanova from Southland Friends of Labor, and we'll be talking with Joe Reinhardt from the Painters District Council number 14, Paul Wendy from Ironworkers Local 63, and Bob Howard from the Chicago and Western Lakes Port Council Maritime Trades. Doors open at 7:30, and if you want to attend, please call or text 708-996-1291. You can leave a voicemail to save a seat. See you on the 2nd.
Hey guys, this is Tara Devlin for the Political Voices Network. This is America, right? We don't do kings here. No crowns, no thrones, no authoritarian cosplay. That's why we created the No Kings American Flag pin. For the low price of $20.26, that's 2026, we're keeping our eye on the prize here. This well-crafted enamel pin is the standard 1-inch American flag lapel pin, but this one features the patriotic No Kings symbol that defines our rallying cry. It's your quiet way of signaling to other patriots that you believe in democracy, and yeah, that still matters. You can grab yours now at store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. That's store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. The No Kings American Flag pin. Get it now at store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And riding a sidecar with me is Carmen Navarro Gercone. She is my guest co-host today, and joining us on the line is Tina Garza with Catholics for Choice. You can go to catholicsforchoice.org to learn more. Tina, I just got a text from someone who says that Catholics are okay with abortion. There's no debate among Catholics about abortion. They're okay with it. It's just among Catholic leadership. Is that changing at all? Yeah. I mean, is that, first of all, is that your sense, and is that changing with leadership?
Yeah, so a couple things. It is absolutely consistent with what we see at Catholics for Choice. Everyday Catholics support abortion access. 63% of us in the U.S. are those everyday Catholics. When it comes to the leadership is a very old ship that turns very slowly. So we see Pope Leo having conversations and comments on pro-life, the pro-life movement as a single issue when it needs to be broader and has more nuance. He's recently said that he doesn't know if someone can call themselves pro-life if they are not against the mistreatment of immigrants in the U.S. So there's some nuance that's happening. At the same time, he has doubled down on the church's teaching on abortion, that he's recently referred to it as an issue that is disrupting peace. And so we're not seeing this huge shift, and we didn't anticipate it. What we are seeing is people paying attention, and that is what is giving us hope at Catholics for Choice.
And is MAGA pushing Catholics farther to the left? Are they kind of frustrated with the way Trump is shoving Christian nationalism as an agenda?
Yeah, I think in some ways, Patty, for sure. And in some ways, folks are going further right. It really all comes down to the community. What we are seeing, for example, with young Catholics is there's a bit of a dichotomy. Young Catholics, 70% of Gen Z Catholics support abortion access. And we also see Gen Z Catholics as a primary audience of the ultra-conservative Catholic movements that are pushing the trad wife, be at home, have as many babies as possible realm that is rooted in Christian nationalism, particularly white Christian nationalism. So I think to some degree there are folks who are more moderate or maybe have raised an eyebrow to this has gone too far on the right. And there are other folks that feel like now they have a voice that they previously, maybe it was too rude to speak up. So some people, unfortunately, are empowered and some are waking up.
And I think we talked a little bit in the last segment about archbishops and bishops in the area. Tell us a little bit about the recent appointment of Archbishop Ronald Hicks.
Yeah. So Bishop Hicks previously served as bishop in Joliet. Chicagoan from the beginning, grew up on the South Side, actually not very far from where Pope Leo grew up. And for those who aren't as familiar, the South Side Catholic community has been historically very rooted in justice-oriented work. Bishop Hicks calls himself, he's a leader for the people. He said he wants to smell like the sheep, right? He wants to be among his flock. And this is huge for the Archdiocese of New York. With Cardinal Dolan, it was about power and influence. It was about political strategy and aligning himself and using the Catholic Church as a voice for a lot of political argument, deeply rooted in Christian nationalism. So this is a huge difference in what we are going to see leadership in the most prominent diocese in the United States. So it's exciting. It's hopeful. Again, slow turning ship, but I'm excited to see that there's someone who's open to having more pastoral dialogue and being among the people.
Well, because I feel like, the topic, the issue, this sort of banner of, save the babies, or these women are murderers. I mean, it seems like it's been used to mostly manipulate people without having any basis of actually being something that was taught in the Bible.
Right. And I mean, Patty, you hit the nail on the head. There is no basis in the Bible that abortion is immoral or murder or inherently sinful. And the early church did not teach that. The teaching of abortion has changed through church history. And that's something that the bishops love to deny and love to ignore. The fact is that abortion has not always been such a major platform for the Catholic Church. And every Catholic has the full ability to decide for themselves how they feel about abortion and how that is lived out in their everyday life.
I have a question about Catholic hospitals. What has your organization done when it comes? Obviously, this disproportionately affects women of color. So what kind of things is your organization doing, to help in that instance? Because we know a lot of the Catholic hospitals refuse to provide certain care and things like that. So how are you helping women in those communities?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few different ways. So one of the ways is, one, we are naming that religious restrictions and religious directives in Catholic hospitals are hurting patients, period. Whether you are a woman who's pregnant, whether you are someone who has a life-threatening condition that you need a referral for and the church will not provide one the hospital will not provide one because it is not in accordance to their directives. It is 7 hospital beds in the U.S. are in a Catholic facility. And so what we do at Catholics for Choice, one thing, is we invite people to report religious overreach that they've experienced in healthcare settings, whether they've been refused services or whether someone they care about has been refused services. We recently launched, back in June actually, not long after I was on the show last time, a new platform called the Overreach Monitor, where we are reporting on where this is happening, who's responsible and who's funding it. So we want to give people the resources that they need, one, to identify it, and two, to redirect people. We have a tool that folks can visit online to see if their if their hospital is under Catholic directives so that they can make an informed decision about their care. We're helping people identify if a crisis pregnancy center in their area is masquerading as a legitimate care center for someone who has a pregnancy. So we're pointing people in the right direction, and we're making sure that people pay attention to how is the church affecting me, even if I am not Catholic.
I really appreciate the work that you do. Yeah, thank you so much. Again, we've been talking to Tina Garza. She is with Catholics for Choice. You can go to catholicsforchoice.org and learn more about the work they do. We'd love to have you on again. We're having a little bit of technical issues with the buzzing noise and stuff, too, so I don't know if you're able to hear that, but I've been running around the studio trying to figure out where that's coming from. Thank you. No. But we'd love to have you in studio sometime. I know you're in the neighborhood. I owe you a super dog, my friend.
Maybe I'll be inviting you to my grandchildren's baptism.
Oh, my gosh. I would be happy to show up. I will bring brochures from Catholics for Choice. I will bring pins to wear.
I love it. I love it. Tina, thank you so much for sharing the information and your insight and letting people know that there is a place for Catholics for Choice.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Patty, for having us.
Of course.
Nice to be back.
Have a good one. Thank you. Take care. Thank you. Let's take a break here. Hopefully I'll be able to get my next guest on Zoom. I don't know, and I don't have a phone number for them either. But thank you, Tina. Let's take a break here with Carmen Navarro Gercone, and we'll be right back with our friends from the Rare Disease Awareness Organization that's going to tell us a little bit more about what we can know to help people in our lives who might need that support. More after this. That buzzing noise is going to make me crazy.
Yeah, but it's coming
it's not
from
in my head,
there?
right?
No,
it's coming from over there.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Look for clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 31 degrees and winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20. Friday, sunshine with a high temperature of 61 and southwesterly winds at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low temperature of 32, northwest winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, a little bit of light snow with a high of 36, cloudy Sunday, high of 31. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 41.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
If you're an experienced homeowner who's outlived your assets or your spouse recently passed away, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local reverse mortgage lender. Alice, 90, widow, income $24,000 a year, living in a $500,000 home with no mortgage. Alice's husband recently passed away and she was terrified about losing her home, so her daughter called for information about a reverse mortgage. We helped Alice secure a reverse mortgage, which allowed her to access $300,000 tax-free dollars so she could afford in-home health care. Let's review. Alice's husband recently passed away. She outlived her assets and thought she had to sell her home. Our reverse mortgage expert, Jose Rodriguez, helped Alice secure a reverse mortgage so she could afford in-home health care and peacefully age in place. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 643114.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk and
or Pete.
You know Minocqua Brewing Company ships right to you because drinking progressively shouldn't require a road trip. You need to try it is and always will be the Gulf of Mexico Mexican Lager. Yeah, that's the real name because when our, let's be generous and say, cognitively adventurous president tried to erase 5 centuries of geographic history with an executive order, the sane half of America grabbed a cold one and said, nah, it's crisp, it's Mexican style, and it pairs beautifully with common sense. And the Freedom Trail Kolsch, smooth, easy drinking, inspired by World War II escape routes that saved lives fleeing Nazi tyranny. Because resistance isn't just a bumper sticker, it's a tradition worth toasting. Order online anytime at MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. They'll ship it right to your door. And for our Collar County friends, find them locally at our Tolly Wine and Company That's Carmen. in Rockford, Bootleggers Liquors in Frankfurt, Westside Liquor in Morris, Liquor World in Kankakee, and the Deli Llama Store and Cafe in Lake Villa. Minocqua Brewing Company, progressive beer for people who still give a damn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
You are listening, and our guest on the line who's on Zoom with us is watching me scramble over all my buttons. I wanted to introduce her to Carmen Navarro Gercone, who is in studio with me, and joining us by Zoom is, Indu Navar joins us. Are you a doctor as well? 'Cause I should be calling you doctor then.
I'm a doctorate student. So
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You are with Everything ALS, Care to Cure. Tell folks, first of all, a little bit about the organization.
Yes, absolutely. We are a tech-enabled, patient advocacy group. And I got into this because I'm a tech entrepreneur. I've done my electrical engineering, computer science master's. I've built companies. I've had successful companies here in the Silicon Valley. And I've had, multiple exits, successful exits. Unfortunately, ALS, which is Everything ALS, named in honor of my husband, he was diagnosed in his late 40s and he passed away in 2019. So what I saw was a lot of the, fractures in the healthcare system, a lot of the things that we could do better. And but we haven't really innovated the whole thing for 75 years. And so exactly,
Wow.
I know that's exactly the look I had was, what is that something that we do today that have not done anything in 75 years? Every 90 minutes, somebody's getting diagnosed with ALS. Every 90 minutes, somebody's dying of ALS. That has been happening from the time we know what ALS is. And it takes about 12 to 24 months to get diagnosed. It's too late. It's like always looking at it as stage 4 equivalent of cancer. That has not changed either.
When, because I don't even think people know what to look out for, what they should even, say, hey, maybe I should give someone a call. So if things haven't changed, that means that we're also not informed. I feel like I'll scroll and say, this is what your liver is trying to tell you. This is what your heart is trying to tell you. We aren't hearing about some of the instances where we should be aware of what the symptoms or the alarm bells are for ALS.
Yeah, absolutely. And 1 in 3 people are going to be diagnosed with a neurological condition by 2030. So this is not something, the problem is not going to go away.
Wait, can you say that again?
1 in 3 people in the world are going to be diagnosed with a neurological issue.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think people are aware of that.
No, that's why I wanted to make sure I heard that correctly.
Yeah, by 2030. So it's coming. It's here. And we are so behind in our brain diseases compared to cancer and oncology.
Is it because it's just so complicated? I mean, you have to be a brain surgeon. Are we not recruiting enough people not going into it? Is there not enough? So, I mean, a lot of it comes down to money. Is that part of it where it's like, well, cancer's just kind of more catchy?
I think the problem starts with people as well. We, the people, when it happens, we're isolated. We don't want to talk about it. There's a lot of shame in talking about neurological issues. Cancer was the same way. When cancer came up, people didn't want to use the big C word. And now, we're openly fundraising. We're openly saying, I had cancer, now I'm recovered, or I have cancer, I lost someone, right? We are a lot more comfortable to talk about it than neurological issue. Out of the $4 trillion a year in US, $4.5 trillion, we spend about $1.3 trillion on neurological issues. And nobody talks about it, right? 1/4 of our healthcare spend is for neurology. And so yes, why don't we talk about it? Like,
Yes.
because I think we haven't done the economic models. I mean, we're still trying to come up with how do we quantify this brain? And I really think it's not known because it's kind of in ALS, it's like a revolving door. By the time somebody is diagnosed, it's so late that people who have had this in their family, they say, I don't want to talk about it. I want to move on.
What do you say to folks who maybe are just hearing about Everything ALS for the first time, your organization, and they have someone that they love who has learned they have been diagnosed? What kind of support would you like them to know about, and what's available for them?
Absolutely. Everything ALS is a citizen-driven research and open innovation. We, the people, are coming together. So instead of getting 25, 30 people from Harvard or 25, 30 people in research at Stanford, we the people, where thousands of people come together and we collect data from thousands of people within the shortest amount of time that becomes available for researchers with pharma companies to actually come up with the drug, right? So I work with over 21 pharma companies to help them design their clinical trials, help them with the drug. So the more we can get involved in this, the faster we can actually get the treatments. This is not going to happen without we the people coming together. So it's one part is the money, the other part is the people lived experience. We need to understand what they're going through so that we can actually come up with the treatments and drugs for it.
And where do folks turn? How do they get involved and participate?
Come to everythingals.org. And if you come to everythingals.org or go to the App Store or, Google Play and download Everything app. It's a free app where you can actually chat with people. We have something called Pathfinders. That is the people who have a lot of knowledge. A lot of them are caregivers or people with the disease who want to help other people. So they actually are available to chat 24/7. So we are all there.
It's incredible you have an app. I think that's great because it's something, that people can tangibly participate in right away.
And also there are tools. There are tools such as you can get involved in the research. You can also have your nutrition monitored. So you can look at your micronutrients, macronutrients. We're coming up with the neuroinflammation index, which nobody has put together. So we do know glycemic index, we know, but neuroinflammation index is something we're putting together right now. So there is a lot of very, very good tools to actually monitor, manage the day-to-day of somebody with ALS, also somebody, with caregivers.
Now I know that tomorrow is Rare Disease Day, and one of the things that the folks that reached out to me about speaking to you is that rare is not rare at all. Although I will say, my son is only the 53rd person in the world. We just found out my son is 20, and he has something called primrose, which is a de novo spontaneous genetic disorder. We didn't know when he was born; it wasn't tested for. So we do fall in that it's very rare, but that's still we don't even know how rare it is because some people just go undiagnosed. Same with ALS, right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. A lot of people get undiagnosed and they probably die being undiagnosed because with ALS, it's like if it takes 18 months to 24 months to get diagnosed and from the time you start your symptoms, it's 2 to 5 years to live, do the math. A lot of people never get diagnosed and they're already in the last stages. So you can go from stage 0 to stage 4 very, very, within that 2-year window for many of the people. When we say rare is not that rare, that's because there is a lot of co-pathology within the diseases. For example, with ALS, we have certain protein called TDP43 that has been shared with many other diseases as well. So if we understand that protein and how to get rid of the protein, it actually helps with a lot of the other diseases. So that's why we say rare is not that rare if you actually look at it more holistically. So we have launched EverythingAD.org. That's the Alzheimer's as well. So our goal is to really take this platform and go into the other diseases that we think that share the pathology.
I really appreciate that. And I think that we want to know more. You're still stuck on the number by 2030.
I am, only because not being affected by any of these rare diseases. But when you think about something you said that struck me right from the beginning is, with cancer, people didn't want to talk about that at the beginning, but look at how far we've come. And that's come from people telling their stories. So, and from being informed. So you would think that when people hear by 2030, like I can't get that out of my head, 1 in 3 people in the world. I have 5 children. I will be looking at one of my children or one of my grandchildren or one of my, like that hits. Like already we're walking around, we meet people every day that have cancer. Like, so to think about it in those terms is very striking.
Yeah, and also, we're actually getting hit younger and younger. I mean, the youngest person with ALS is 8-year-old. We have a lot of people with 18-year-old, 20-year-olds, 30. I mean, I really thought when Peter was in his late 40s, I thought he was so young. And then I get into this, working with the ALS, and I'm like, oh my God, we have tons of people in their 20s and 30s who are getting diagnosed. It's pretty scary. I mean, like if you really think about how it's not the old person's disease anymore, this neurological condition. The neurological conditions are happening sooner and to a lot more people, for many, many reasons, as you can think of. So, and you said a very good point about, the big C changed because people started telling the story. And that's what we need to do in neurological condition. Neurological, we need to have stories to be told. And I think that is still like, that whole stigma of, oh my God, dementia means I've gone crazy, or, it's kind of any of the neurological condition is not seen as something. Of course, we don't have treatments because of that too, because we need to have told stories of these beautiful people who've been affected by this disease, and this will continue to happen if we don't do something about it.
We have been talking to Indu Navar. Am I saying that right? Indu Navar, who with Everything ALS. I'm so grateful for this conversation. I really do. And I want people, I encourage folks to seek out more information. Again, remind them where they can turn for the website and the app.
EverythingALS.org as a website, and go to the App Store, both on Google and also the Apple Store for Everything ALS free app. You can download the free app.
Excellent. And everything that Indu and everyone she's working with are focused on is the human realities of caregiving and loss, and a patient-first effort to accelerate ALS research and better measurement. So thank you for everything that you're doing. I'd love to talk to you again sometime, and really appreciate you sharing this insight with our audience.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Take care. Let's take a break here. Bye-bye. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll wrap up in just a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. I'll try to be funny. There's a lot of heavy stuff. And it's too late. More after this.
It's the Democracy, Stupid, with Edwin Eisendrath.
Trump's undertrained and overarmed thugs continue to terrorize neighborhoods and threaten reporters. I stood with terrified parents outside a school. ICE had just done a drive-by, and that's all. They didn't make an arrest. They didn't even try. It was a show of force intended to frighten people. Chicagoans are documenting all of this. Chicagoans are standing up for America.
Edwin Eisendrath, Saturdays at 1 p.m. on WCPT 820.
Stephanie Miller here. If eating is stressing you out, you're not alone. There's so much confusion around food. One day something's good for you, the next day it's not. No wonder digestion can feel chaotic. What I learned from the Tummy Whisperer is reassuring your body isn't broken, it's communicating. It needs proper guidance. That's why I trust Renee Barish at Digestive Health Solutions as a certified digestive health specialist. Renee works one-to-one, helping people make sense of their symptoms without extremes or overwhelming them. If you've changed your diet and feel the same or worse, if bloating, reflux, constipation, diarrhea, and low energy are running your life, Renee will help you connect the dots. Digestion will calm down, food can feel easy again, and you don't have to figure it all out alone. You've got the Tummy Whisperer. Learn more at thetummywhisperer.com or call Renee at 847-207-2034. One more time, that's 847-207-2034. Let's get you feeling better.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I'm so grateful that Carmen Navarro Gercone came in studio with me today. I know it was a lot. There was a wide range of topics.
Yeah, but it was all very, very good.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yes, thank you.
Do a little bit of everything. When you come in here and all that stuff.
I'm a little upset with my children right now, though.
But don't be upset with them. They're just, there's a, look, I left my mother's church, but I mean, it was the Mormon church, and you can understand that, right? But I think a lot of people, like Griffin was so sweet when he was little. Like he used to take it very seriously, but he got in trouble in, for second grade, first communion, right?
Yeah.
Because he went to public school, he went on the weekends to the Catholic church over here. Yes, CCD. And there were times when he maybe caused some trouble. I know it's hard to believe that my son would
I can't imagine any child you would have would cause rock the boat.
I was traveling. I remember the first time it occurred to me that while he is interested in the teachings of Christ and the Bible, I mean, like he was very serious about his studies. Like he would read. He's like, I'm going to read to you from the book of Paul. And I was like, oh boy. I have pictures of him like sitting down with the Bible and stuff and reading to us. But Steve went to pick him up. I was on the road and Steve messaged me because the teacher was saying that people who commit suicide will spend eternity in hell because they've wasted God's gift. And so Griffin raised his hand and said, but then did God gift them with mental illness? And the teacher found that a little challenging.
Couldn't answer the question.
Yeah, could not answer. And my husband was probably like, well, what was your answer? I mean, right? It's a mental health issue.
Yeah.
And then one time I was... Griffin, I think he was like 12. This is before Trump won. So if he's 22 now, so this is like, he was like, so 10 years ago, before Trump won, I'll never forget this. I was on a jetway. I was like waiting to get on my plane, you know, like checking your messages last minute. Griffin texted me. He said, isn't it great that we have a political party that values life from the womb to the cervix? He was 12. It was just like
that explains a lot, though.
I have to find that text. I took a screenshot of it. I think I put it on. It's so funny because there were a lot of times when people wouldn't believe the things. Like I got heckled one time when I was telling this story about Griffin, and my friend Christine Bloomer had passed away, and Griffin was really upset, and he couldn't sleep because he was like just thinking about like we're never going to see her again. He was like 6 or 7 years old, and I told him like we're going to tell stories about Christine. You know, sometimes we'll have dessert first because she said life's too short. You should have dessert first. Yeah. And he said to me, I'll never forget this because in that glow of bedtime when you've kind of got like a nightlight on, and, and their little faces, and it's And he goes, you know what, Mommy, I feel like I'm in a rowboat with no oars, and I just have to see where this storm takes me. And I was like, I don't even know why you're talking to me because I am in therapy twice a week. But that is going to look really good on Twitter, sweetie. Thank you. Hashtag.
Thank you for thanks for the material, baby.
Yeah. Hashtag Griffin says. And so I did that one night. I was doing a show at a country club, actually the country club where Michael Jordan was not allowed to be a member. Do you remember this in Highland Park?
I remember when that came up.
I was performing there. I was actually performing there the Friday after Trump won. And I was telling the story about Griffin that I love telling. And this woman, and I was not doing well because I was like, you guys are I was still kind of hot under the collar. And I was like, you guys probably voted for him, didn't you? You know? At any rate, I was telling the story about Griffin, and this woman, she's like, that never happened. You've never seen me at a show where somebody like, especially when I'm talking about my kids, I walked right into that. I didn't care how much money these people had. I had to message Pat McGann afterwards and apologize. I just kind of went off on an audience member. But yeah, I was like, excuse me? Like, what?
Were you there?
Yeah, and look, if you're not enjoying the show, like, just I'm almost done. Now we gotta have a thing. Now we have to have an altercation.
Now you're taking it from other people.
I'm just saying,
wasting my time.
But Griffin was often thinking about like weighing what the Bible taught, what science tells him. You know, what he was learning from science, even at 5. And this was the one I think that she started not believing me. Let me put it this way: I am not this good of a writer. I can't write that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a boat with no oars and I have to see where this storm takes me. I don't know what.
Yeah, no. And I mean, they're little people. Like, you don't know what they hear, what they feel.
Yeah,
and
he's an old soul, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So it was around Christmas time. I'm often at the dining room table. That's where I do a lot of writing.
Yeah.
That's where, and he came up to me and just again, the cutest little boy. He goes, Mommy, what do you think God thought about dinosaurs? And I was like, I don't know. I think he was experimenting. Like for me, like that's what
you figured that's a good answer for a 5-year-old.
He was experimenting. He made some that could fly, some with really long necks, so they could eat out of trees, and some that swam, and some had feathers, and some with short arms, and that's why they're so angry because they can't scratch themselves. And he made this noise. He goes, "Mommy, that's not what happened. See, God made sure that the Big Bang happened, so that the primordial ooze was there. The deoxyribonucleic acid was present, so all life forms could emerge as a result of accident and environment."
So he knew the answer to that because he asked the question when he was in school, and some teacher took the time, to show him that.
Right, or something.
Because some kids are like that, right?
Yeah, and he absorbs everything.
Yeah, and
I was like, dioribo, what? And he goes, DNA,
like, hello,
mommy.
Because he asked the question, which is what a lot of us grown-ups are failing to do this days, is just ask
questions.
The darn question. Ask the question. You don't look stupid. If you don't know, ask the question, because you know what? You're going to look like a rocket scientist when somebody asks you and you know the answer.
I mean, well, and I think that's why, for me, being somebody who's, as opposed to being conservative, right? Let's take all the other titles out, like, whether it's MAGA, Republican, liberal, socialist, liberal and conservative, right? For me, what it seems to be is if you're conservatives want things to stay the way they are, always were. Like, this is that whole idea of make America great again, and they can't tell me what part of America, what time in history, because it's the again part. I'm all about making America great for everybody. But to tell me, right?
Yeah.
For being a progressive or a liberal or somebody who's not conservative means getting new information and going, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah.
I'll use that going forward until I'm proven wrong on that.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm just
ask the question.
Ask the question.
And listen to the answer.
What?
No. Yeah, I know. It's amazing. It's amazing. Just like I listen to all my children text back, no.
They said no to the Catholic Church.
They said no to the Catholic Church. I said, can you at least read the website? So they agreed to read it, but one already texted back.
I said no, not for them.
Said I appreciate it, but no.
Not even any love for Pope Leo and although it's a White Sox hat.
No, they like Pope Leo.
They're like, well, there you go.
Yeah,
so I like Pope Francis.
So no, my children will not be baptized. That's all right. At least my children are good people.
Yeah.
And they believe in a higher power. It's just not the same one I believe in. They believe in vibrations, and so I'm good with that.
Energy, the universe.
Yeah, I believe in, I'm good with that.
Well, I have been doing a little bit of Buddhism. This is Essential Radio. Thanks for this, Patti and guest. Really needed this information for all of us. With the EverythingALS. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was an important conversation. We'll continue to have more of those because I think that medical conversations can be hard to have. And I also think with the aging population, the neurological disorders in part are as we age. And that's going to be an increasing, sort of challenge for a lot of us.
Yeah. And how we're going to take care of them.
Yeah. Or ourselves. That's Carmen Navarro Gercone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
She'll be back soon. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not begging. Thank you, Lady B. Thank you to our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters, Monaco Brewing Company, and Source Solar. And Are You Really Winning? March is Gambling Awareness Month, and we'll talk more about that in the days and weeks to come. Bye, everybody.
Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at Amazon.